We've got some more breaking news for the Boston Celtics as after Luke Kornet is signed away to the Spurs, Brad Stevens gets active on the phones and brings back another big man to the Boston Celtics core, and Luka Garza replaced that E with an A, and now the Celtics have someone that they're going to believe in to be a fundamental building block for the backup center job. So what can he do for Joe Mazzulla's team, and how can he really fit in with this Celtics motive? We'll be breaking down and exploring all of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I am Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been fantastic. Me and Patrick just uploaded the video regarding Luke Kornet, so if you saw that one, make sure to definitely let us know your thoughts on that. But if you missed it, go check that out, because we broke that down, and now the Celtics have filled that void, what they think can be, in another big man. So we're going to dive in and explore what that is and how it can affect this Celtics team. So let's dive in and let's explore everything. Make sure to grab that snack, and let's get into it. As the Celtics make a signing, yes, that's right, we see a signing, something great for this team, as we just had some somber news relating around Luke Kornet in our latest video. The Celtics, like I mentioned, now bring in free agent center Luka Garza on a 2-year, $5.5 million guaranteed deal, which is absolutely insane for the Boston Celtics on some great value. Luka Garza, if you don't know much about him, played at Iowa for 4 seasons, was the college player of the year his senior year there, and then went to the Detroit Pistons, played in some G League games, and ultimately ended up with the Minnesota Timberwolves, but being behind guys like Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, Julius Randle, and now obviously with John Berenger and Rocco Zikarsky getting drafted there was no room for Luka Garza to be a center in that rotation. So now the Celtics are taking that advantage and bringing him in to their rotation that is very weak at the center appointment at this point, with only Neemias Queta and Xavier Tillman under contract, because there's still the uncertainty of Al Horford and Kristaps Porziņģis is gone. Luka Garza is someone that's going to help fill that need. And I think this is absolutely hilarious, because two of my best friends in real life, shout out to my boys Josh and Shiv, they were talking to me about Luka Garza, and they've always loved Luka Garza, right? It's been a running joke, like Luka Garza is going to be really good, and I always have doubted Luka Garza. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've always been the person that hasn't been a big believer in him. And when they came over this weekend, they were talking, oh, maybe he could sign with the Celtics. And I was like, no way that's possible. And let's be real, they were right, I was wrong. Absolutely just funny to see in the real world. But it is cool to see that the Celtics, from John Krasinski over from The Athletic, that does work for the Minnesota Timberwolves, saying that the Celtics have long been fans of Luka Garza, where they've made inquiries with the Wolves before in the past. So that's something to keep an eye on revolving around this name, because it just show you that Brad Stevens, once again, with guys like Hugo Gonzalez, who we drafted, or Derrick White, who we traded for just a couple years ago, this is an absolutely great piece for the Boston Celtics for them to get here on a low value deal, and someone that Brad Stevens, once again, like I said, had some insight about. You have to trust in him. We always say trust in Brad. Some of the moves that we've seen over these last couple years have been a little bit questionable and made us think a little bit on what this team could potentially do, but ultimately we have seen the Boston Celtics look dominant in those moves, right? I know a lot of people, including myself, questioned the Smart for KP trade. Some people even questioned the Jrue Holiday trade, right? But Brad Stevens knows what he's doing, and if he sees something in Luka Garza, that just goes to show you that he is intrigued with a player like him, and that's someone that I am very interested to see happen as well. Garza, like I mentioned, with his play style, is going to be someone that can kind of fit in at the end of the rotation, I think, right? I don't think he's going to be seeing some starting minutes, but could be a key bench piece for the Celtics in a little bit of a gap year here. With that being said, he's a pretty solid defender and rim protector, just a little bit slower, as he is a little bit of a bigger big and can't really shoot the ball that great, in my opinion, but is a good, solid, back to the basket type of big man, and someone that can help at least rim protect, and that's something that the Celtics do need. But obviously, like we mentioned, there still are some holes and uncertainties with this Celtics team, as Luke Kornet did leave now, but Al Horford is still in free agency, and he's getting multiple offers and potentially go to the Golden State Warriors, and Patrick and I talked about that in the latest video. But with Luka Garza coming in, that now says him, Neemias Queta, and Xavier Tillman are the center rotation for this team, with Georges Niang also filling in that power forward rotation. A little bit weak for the Boston Celtics, but like we mentioned in previous videos, they still are looking to shed some salary to have some other moves, or even look in free agency, or look to move off of some contracts, maybe an Aaron Simons, maybe a Georges Niang, maybe even a Sam Hauser, all depending on what the Boston Celtics can get back in return to really fill out this rotation. I wouldn't be shocked they still go out and add up the center rotation here and maybe move off of some of these other contracts with bringing in Luka Garza, because he does kind of resemble what a guy like Neemias Queta or Xavier Tillman would kind of be for this rotation, a fringe backup, someone that is going to be competing in this room. But maybe that's what they use training camp for, right? Maybe these guys' market isn't really there. They're just going to bring Luka Garza in, raise their momentum up, and then if Luka Garza passes one of these guys, we could see them on the move as well. Like I said, free agency is wild for the Boston Celtics. We've already lost Luke Kornet. We're bringing in Luka Garza, which is really, really cool to see for this Boston Celtics team. And like I keep saying, there's going to be more moves that are going to be happening with this squad, and it's definitely something to keep an eye on here with regarding the other free agents and, other contracts on the board. The Celtics will also have Hugo Gonzalez coming in tomorrow for an introductory press conference, which will be very, very cool to see. We'll have to see what happens with the second round picks in Amari Williams and also Max Shoga, because I think that those guys will also be people that are interested for the Boston Celtics community as well. So we will have updates on those guys. But like I said, we want to stay up to date on everything regarding around the Boston Celtics, because news keeps flying in left and right. The Luke Kornet signing with the Spurs happened, and then not even 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, but like 20, 25 minutes later, the Boston Celtics signed Luka Garza, right? So this video is going to be going up a little bit later, just so that video can obviously have some good life. But let me know your thoughts, like I mentioned, on the Luka Garza signing. Do you really like this piece? What are your key intangibles with a guy in Luka Garza? What do you think he can be for the Boston Celtics? And what other moves could you see Brad Stevens also getting involved with out there on the trade market with some of these other contracts here? Like I said, Luka Garza, a big man from the Minnesota Timberwolves, someone that the Boston Celtics have kept an eye on. You have to keep that faith in Brad Stevens here, ultimately, because we trusted him with the KP trade, we trusted him with the Jrue trade, he brought us a championship. We're trusting him with the salary shedding moves of Jrue Holiday and salary shedding moves of Kristaps Porziņģis, and we still have to put that faith and trust in getting a guy in Luka Garza, put that faith and trust in a guy in drafting Hugo Gonzalez, and ultimately see how the Celtics team does pan out. The East is getting stronger, so I do think the Celtics, with Derrick White and with Jaylen Brown, with Jayson Tatum being out, still going to be a solid team in the East, but it's definitely going to be some tougher competition out there, so the Celtics definitely need to still fill in these holes and kind of figure out what they're going to do at that center position once again, because free agents keep going left and right, and we'll have to keep our eye on what happens with Al Horford and what the Celtics do with shedding some money. So like I said, make sure to let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I really do appreciate all the support as well down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Maybe it'll be tonight, maybe it'll be tomorrow morning. We'll have to see what really goes down with the Boston Celtics, as there has just been some crazy stuff and rumors circling the team. But once again, thank you guys so much. See you later, and peace out.